Hey there, I'm Teacher Prix and I want to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Yay, another live video. I hope you enjoyed this live lesson. And if you are watching the replay, that's amazing. I hope this lesson can really give you some tips on how to use Netflix. I think most English learners nowadays use Netflix to study English, to as an entertainment source, because Netflix is really awesome. So, I'm going to be giving you some very nice tips about how to use Netflix, pros and cons of using Netflix, some wrong ideas some English learners have when thinking about how to use Netflix to learn English, some tips of how I would use Netflix to improve my English, to learn more English vocabulary, okay? And at the end, oh, I forgot my water. And at the end of the masterclass, I will be giving you about 10 to 15 minutes to ask questions about today's masterclass, okay? How to improve your English, how to learn more English through Netflix. I see some people are joining, and this is very exciting. Lots of hi and hellos. People from Algeria and Barcelona and from Brazil and from Poland. This is fantastic, okay? So I ask you to share this video if possible so that we can get more people to join, okay? I would really appreciate if you could do that. Let me try to share my live video here on my Facebook page too. Let's see if it works. Okay, sharing. I'm live. Come join me. Because this really helps the channel. The more people join, the more people can participate and ask questions. And make sure to take notes because this lesson is going to be pretty awesome, okay? I was going to make live videos last week, but I got a little sick. I had this allergy on my face, and my face was really ugly. So, no live videos last week. But I got better, so my first action this week was to make a live video for you guys. Now, starting the class, I will be reading the chat during the live class, okay? And I will be answering questions. And remember, questions about the subject, so you can already start sending questions. And at the end of the master class, I will be answering questions that you may have about TV shows, watching TV series to learn English, using Netflix, and any other question related to the subject of today's class, okay? And once again, thank you all very, very much for joining this masterclass. It's awesome. So, why did I decide to make this live masterclass about Netflix? Well, there are many YouTube, Facebook groups and pages on Facebook. And I saw some people talking about Netflix, and many people were confused as to how they could use Netflix to improve their English, to learn more English. There was so much confusion that I paid attention to most of the comments and questions, and I decided to create this master class because maybe this is something that you think about. Maybe it's a question that you have. All right, I like to use Netflix. Am I automatically improving my English? Am I automatically learning English every time I go on Netflix? Not necessarily. And this is what I'm going to be talking to you guys about. You're not necessarily improving your English just because you're using Netflix, okay? However, there are things that you can actually do that will really help you with that will really help you improve. Okay, let me see one thing here. One more second, guys. Is that it? Okay. Very nice. So my first question for you guys before I continue is what do you think? Do you think it is possible to learn English through Netflix? I would love to know your opinion. Share here in the chat, post your comments. What do you think? Is it possible to learn? How do you use it to learn English, to improve your English? So during the live webinar, during this live masterclass, I will be reading some comments on how you use Netflix to learn and to improve your English. Okay, so let me know here in the chat. I will be reading, so participate. That's all I ask from you guys. Well, me personally, I think it is possible to learn English through Netflix, but not necessarily the way many people believe it's possible, all right? And I will be talking about that during the masterclass. But to answer the question, yes, you can learn English through Netflix. Actually, not just Netflix, but TV shows in general. By watching TV series, by watching movies, you can learn English, you can improve your English. It's just the point is how you use the sources, how you use the TV series, how you use the movies, and how you use Netflix to learn English is the key, okay? How you use it. Now, there are some pros and cons that I will be talking about, okay? Because there are some advantages and disadvantages of using Netflix. And maybe this is not what English learners think about when they are studying through Netflix, when they think about signing up and becoming a member of Netflix just because they are going to learn English. Because, well, usually a membership of Netflix is much cheaper than English classes or online courses. So maybe, although it's cheap, it may not necessarily give you all the benefits that you're looking for if you're trying to learn English. Okay? Now, before understanding the pros, what does Netflix really offer you? All right? What do you think that Netflix offers you as an English learner? I think this is important to understand. What does Netflix offer you? There are many things that Netflix offers you, all right? And one of the things is entertainment. That's the key goal of Netflix. Netflix will offer you entertainment before anything else. So if you are thinking that Netflix is a source to learn English, you're not completely right about that. Okay, that's not Netflix goal. The goal of Netflix is to give entertainment in one place. Your favorite shows in one place only. You don't need to go anywhere else. You can stay on Netflix all day long, and all your favorite TV series and movies, old movies, will be there. And why is that important? It's important to keep that in mind so that you don't become frustrated when you don't get the outcome, the results you were looking for. So, the first goal of Netflix is to give you entertainment. And this is something that I will also talk more about during the masterclass, that you need to understand when it's entertainment time and when it's a study time, because there's a huge difference. So, you have all your shows in one place and you have something to watch when you are bored. So, if you have nothing to do, if it's a Saturday night and you have no appointments, you have no one to go out with, Netflix is the perfect place to study, to watch something fun, to to have a good time, to relax and have something to watch. Okay? Excellent. So this is the first thing I need you to understand. The goal of Netflix is to entertain you, to make you happy, to help you see something if you're feeling a little bored. Now, it is also a possible source to help you learn English. I agree. It's a possibility. You can use uh, Netflix to help you study, but there are some things you will need to consider. Now, if you use Netflix the right way, you will be able to improve your English because Netflix, when I say Netflix, I'm talking about the TV shows, okay? You will be able to improve vocabulary, you will be able to improve intonation, you will be able to improve pronunciation, grammar in real context. Many English learners do not like to study grammar because, oh my goodness, teacher, grammar is boring. But in reality, you are studying grammar in TV series and movies because Every time someone is speaking something, there is a structure. There is simple past, there is present, there is future, there is continuous, there is present perfect, there are conditionals. You don't need to know these names, but every time you are in contact with English, you are in contact with grammar, but in real contextualized situations. So it's a great opportunity to study that. You will also be practicing speaking. Why speaking? Because you are learning how they talk. And although TV shows and movies, they really offer very specific situations and like really perfect English, it's a good opportunity to learn how they talk. The real conversation styles and vocabulary and expressions. And depending on the show you watch, you will get a different kind of accent because maybe the actors and actresses from that show are from a specific state in the United States or from a different country, Australia or Canada or the United Kingdom, and consequently, you will have access to different kinds of accent, consequently, different kinds of expressions, idioms that are more local, and this will definitely help you make your English vocabulary richer and cultural too. The cultural aspect of the language will become richer too. And the listening. So here we have 6 things you can improve by using Netflix on a continuous basis. Okay, I'm not talking about using Netflix once in a blue moon. If you don't know once in a blue moon, it means rarely. Okay, let me write here. Once in a blue moon, rarely. Very nice. So I'm talking about consistent use of Netflix. Every week you're there watching and doing the strategies that I'm going to recommend in this masterclass. After some time of dedication and discipline, you will be getting some results and results in all these 6 aspects that I just told you: vocabulary, intonation, pronunciation, grammar, speaking, and listening. Okay? Someone is saying Netflix will help your English if you watch only in English, subtitles in English, or without subtitles. Marcelo says that it depends on the series, on the show. You have to watch something that will help you. I agree. So you are on the right track. Okay, I think this is interesting. You are on the right track of what to watch on Netflix. There's so much stuff on Netflix, and there's so much going on. And something you said about subtitles. For example, I am from Brazil. I am in Brazil. And not all the shows on Netflix Brazil have subtitles. Unfortunately, some of the shows do not have English subtitles. Most of the time, the subtitles are in Brazilian Portuguese or maybe Spanish, but unfortunately, they're not available in English. So, this may happen in your country. You may have access to Netflix, but unfortunately, not all the shows you want to watch in English will have the subtitle in English. Okay, I'm also going to be talking about how to deal with that and knowing how to select, knowing how to choose the show to watch is very important too. You're not going to improve your English just with any show you want to watch, If you just decide to turn on Netflix and put on Game of Thrones is not available on Netflix, but let's suppose Game of Thrones were available on Netflix. That's not really the kind of show that I recommend for improving your English, improving your listening, improving your vocabulary, improving your intonation. So there are different shows for different purposes, okay? Now, one thing that is super important: expectation versus reality. I love these memes we have on the internet, like what we expect, what the reality is. Because it's true, when we are thinking about improving English through Netflix, we have completely different expectations, and the reality is a little different. So, when we are thinking about improving our English through Netflix, we expect to sit down, grab a phone or a tablet or iPad or a computer, sit down, watch the video, learn a lot, awesome, and start speaking just like that. But what really happens is that listening, watching the TV show may or may not improve your listening or your English, and many TV shows will be just too difficult. And consequently, many of you may get frustrated for not learning or improving the way you thought you would. So, here, I think what I wanted to adjust is your expectation, because expectation is very different from reality. When I said at the beginning that it is possible to learn through Netflix, I'm going to be giving you some very realistic scenarios of things that can help you improve, but they are not necessarily fun to do. Because let's be honest, watching TV series for people who like it is fun. It's something that it's exciting. But watching a TV show to help you improve English, to help you master your English skills may not be as fun as you expect it to be, because it's not just about hitting the play button and start watching. That's not it. And that's usually what we unfortunately expect. We expect to hit the play button and watch Netflix, and after 1 month watching and having fun, we learn like that. And it's not, guys. So, this is if you were expecting that kind of result just by watching, being, even if you are consistent, okay, if every week you watch Netflix, every week you're watching different episodes and you expect to learn that way, nope, that's not going to happen. The reality is going to be completely different. You may have some improvement of listening because you are training your brain to listen every week, but you're not necessarily improving all your skills so that you can have a better English speaking, so that you can speak more confidently, so that you can have more vocabulary. So, this is something that I like to adjust with my students, with my clients, with you guys, because you are my student. So, this is something you need to adjust. It is possible to learn, but you have to understand the difference between active learning and passive learning, entertainment, and study time. So we have two scenarios here. We have active and passive learning, entertainment time, and study time. And you need to learn to respect these different moments you go through every day. Because if you don't, you may get a little frustrated because of the results you are getting. Okay? So let's focus on passive learning and active learning. And hey, by the way, if you are enjoying this live masterclass, I would really appreciate if you could hit the like button, because then that gives me an idea that you are enjoying, that you're happy with the class, and if possible, share, because that way we bring more people to this masterclass and I can answer more questions at the end. Okay? Now, as I was saying, passive learning and active learning. Passive learning is when you receive information, but you don't do anything about it. Sometimes you're not even paying attention. Many English learners multitask while watching Netflix. Check the phone, chat with friends, WhatsApp messages, Facebook. So Netflix on, okay, your favorite TV show is there. Subtitles are on, all good. But you are on your phone, you're talking to three different people. You're talking to your friends, you're talking to your family, you're checking the news, you're checking your Facebook feed, you're checking Instagram. Netflix is on, but are you really learning? So, do you think you are taking advantage of that opportunity? So, I like to call that passive learning because you are receiving information, you're listening to the story, maybe you're watching, but you're not completely there. You're not paying attention to the information that you were receiving. So, what happens there? You're not putting anything into practice. So, this is something that you need to pay attention. Just by watching a TV show doesn't mean you are actually studying English, okay? Because if you just sit down, you click play, and you watch, and then you're done, that was just mostly passive learning. That was just a moment of more like entertainment than actually doing something. Active learning is different because it's the moment when you really do something about the information that you see, that you listen, that you are connected with. Okay? You don't multitask. I think the problem of our society today is to multitask. We want to do many different things at the same time, and consequently, we don't focus on any activity. So maybe you are watching Netflix, but at the same time, you are chatting on your phone, you are checking the news feed, you are checking Instagram, and you're not really there. And I say that from my experience, okay? I love using Netflix, I love watching TV shows, but I notice that sometimes I am completely gone. My mind's wandering and I stop paying attention and I have to go back because I don't remember anything that I was watching. And because me, Priscilla, okay, I like to watch TV shows without subtitles to practice my listening, because I am in a different level, so I don't use subtitles. I have to pay attention. I have to stay completely focused. So when I am multitasking, if I'm checking my phone and chatting with my friends, that's it. I don't remember anything that I was watching. So I think this is something that you need to pay attention. And it's difficult today for people to sit down and focus on only one activity. We want to do many different things. Okay, we want to watch the TV show, but we want to be chatting with friends, we want to be checking the news, we want to be looking at everything. Okay, so this is something that you also have to analyze. And passive learning and active learning, there's even much more for you to learn about active learning and passive learning. Just because you are paying attention to the show doesn't necessarily mean that you are actively learning from that TV show. But I'll talk more a little about that, okay? Now, the second scenario we have to analyze is entertainment time and study time. When my students come to me, my private students who come to me and ask me about Netflix and how they can use it, I talk about this like every week with my clients, okay? It's a subject that I never get tired of talking about. My first question is, do you watch Netflix because you like it, or do you want to start watching Netflix because you have to improve your English? Because we have different moments here, and we need to learn to respect these two different moments. The moment when you want to relax and forget about your problems, forget about work, forget about anything that is making you stressed, you want to forget about it. And we have the study time, the moment that you really want to sit down and test your listening, test your vocabulary, test if you can understand the information that you're watching, because these are two different scenarios. And let me tell you one thing, you can't stay in one scenario all the time. You can't only have entertainment time if you want to improve your English, of course. You can't be only on entertainment time if you want to improve your English. However, just like you can't be just focused on entertainment, you can't focus on studying every time you are watching Netflix, because it'll give you too much pressure. Okay, it'll pressure you into studying, studying, and studying, and then you will get frustrated because you will lose your motivation to study. So you need to learn to divide the time between entertainment time and study time, because when you do that, you have more productive results. Because then, when you are during entertainment time, it's okay if you multitask. It's okay if you check your phone, if you talk to your friends, if you check Facebook, if you check Instagram. It's no problem because it's entertainment. You're just there to relax. There's no pressure to study or to learn vocabulary or to pay attention to stuff. No. But if it's the study time, uh, you know, study time is different because it's something that you really need to focus on, to pay attention, and multitasking at this moment is not healthy. When I sit down to study, I turn off all distractions around me. So if I am using a TV show to study, I turn off my distractions, and my distractions are a cell phone. Okay, if I'm using my phone, I let my phone, I put my phone away from me so that I can actually dedicate myself to studying that specific episode. Okay, so it's important to learn the difference between these two scenarios. Okay, now, can you really learn then? Yes, I'm gonna go into more details now. Okay. First, you need to choose a show that you like, but that it's not in your favorite list. And why is that? Many English learners they want to learn English by watching their favorite shows, and this is a little dangerous because you are mixing entertainment and study. Remember, entertainment time and study time. I don't like to mix these two guys together. If I have a show that I really love, that it's something that, oh my God, I love this show, it's incredible, I'm not going to study through that show. Because every time I watch that show, I am excited about the story. I want to know what's happening. I'm not focusing on improving my English. I don't care about English at that moment. I care about having fun, about learning what's going to happen to my favorite character. That's my goal with that show. So I recommend choosing a show that you like, that is interesting for you, but not your favorite. It's not in your favorite list. So if you are a fan of Game of Thrones, if you're crazy about Game of Thrones, don't study English through Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones will be entirely to uh, entertainment time. Now, if you like, I don't know, Supernatural, and Supernatural is okay, it's not your favorite show, but you kind of like it, then it's a good show. It's interesting, it's not in your favorite list, and it's a show that can help you study because you need to separate entertainment and study time. Okay? Now, this show needs to have short episodes, okay? There are many shows on Netflix today that have 20-minute episodes, 30-minute episodes. On average, the episodes are about 40 minutes. But to study, I recommend shows that have episodes of 20 minutes, 25 minutes, because it's easier to focus. When we study English, especially if we study English alone, it's difficult to focus. I get it. I study English alone at home. And when I have very long exercises, it's hard for me to focus. So I usually focus on shows that are shorter, that are about 20 to 30 minutes, because then it's easier for me to concentrate. Okay? Now, if it's a study time, you need to prepare yourself. How? If you're going to watch the show through your phone, okay, that's nice. So you will probably need a piece of paper to write things, okay? Maybe you will need a computer to type things if you don't like to write, if you prefer to type. Have a notebook, to type or a tablet in addition to the gadget that you're going to watch the TV show. So you need to prepare your environment. So if you are going to watch the show on the computer, have a piece of paper around you or have an app where you can take notes. Remember, it's a study time. If you're just watching and you're not taking any notes, you're not really studying. And even if you're not really the type of person who likes to write, at some point, if you want to improve your English and practice, you will need to take some notes. It will be important to take notes. So either you are old-fashioned and you prefer writing, or if you're more modern and you prefer typing, choose your favorite and stick to it. But you need to do that. Now, why did I say you need a short episode? Short episodes are better because you will divide this show into small chunks, small parts. So if the episode is 20 minutes long, you can divide the show into four parts, okay, maybe five parts. And you're going to spend time watching each part of the episode, repeating, pausing. You see something interesting, you're going to take notes. Teacher Pricks, do I need to do this every day? No, not at all. You're using the TV show to help you, but this doesn't mean you have to do this all the time, every day. This is an option. This is something you can do. But as I was saying, you can choose one short episode, then you're going to divide this episode into small parts. So if the episode is 25 minutes, 20 minutes divided into 5-minute parts, then you're going to watch each part, and you're going to describe what's happening, what is happening in the story, what do you really understand? Because it's okay, you're not going to understand everything in the show, all the words in the show. No, that's not the point. That's not the goal at all. I don't understand everything. Sometimes I don't. If I get very curious, I pause the show, I rewind, I activate the subtitles, I read it, and then I move on, I keep going. But you don't need to understand all the words, okay? But by dividing the show into small 5-minute parts, it's easier to understand what's happening. And why do I say right? Because it's easier for you to remember the information. So writing helps your brain to remember information. Okay? Now, if you are in a part where you watch like 2 minutes and you don't understand anything, pause, check the subtitles, check what they are talking about. There's probably an expression or a phrasal verb or something there that is very difficult or is a different expression that would be interesting for you to check. This happened to me. Actually, this happens to me all the time when I'm watching TV shows on Netflix or on the internet. Sometimes I don't understand. If there are subtitles, I activate the subtitles and I check. Okay, what are they talking about? Okay, okay. Do I know this expression? Do I know this phrasal verb? Do I know this idiom? If I don't know, I pause. If it's a study time, okay? I pause, I check an online dictionary, I understand the example, then I go back to the video. That's studying, okay? Now, when you finish the first part, you're going to take notes, try to explain the story. If you don't want to write, I recommend writing, but maybe if you don't like writing, if you really don't like to write, maybe you can speak aloud. Okay, in this part of the video, in this part of the episode, the girl had an accident, and then the police officer stopped and helped her and took her to the hospital. Now she's in the hospital and nobody knows who she is. Okay, that's what I understand. Then you watch the second part. So you can do this orally, but to help you remember the story, I recommend writing because it's not that simple to explain the story of an episode, okay? It takes a little practice. I sometimes don't know how to explain a story of an episode in my own language, let alone English, okay? Now, if you want to practice pronunciation, intonation, you can also do it. And practicing shadowing during an episode is a good idea. But as I said, short episodes, okay? Very short episodes, so you can take maybe 2 to 3 minutes of the episode and practice. Practice intonation. Repeat what they are saying because this will be a good opportunity for you to improve your pronunciation, to improve your intonation. And they are real actors, native speakers, Americans, Canadians, Australians. So this is the best example of what native speakers will talk, the way they talk in everyday situations. It depends on the app, it depends on the kind of show that you're watching too. But most of the time, the show is like about everyday situations, maybe a little bit unrealistic, but choose well, and you will be able to get a lot of benefit from the pronunciation, intonation, accent, and vocabulary from these TV shows and episodes. And finally, after okay, you practiced today and you watched one episode. Phew, it took you some time because you had to stop and pause and divide it into 5 parts or 4 parts, but you finished. The next day, or maybe 2 days later, you can review your notes because it's important to review. You only learn by repetition. Maybe you don't need to watch the episode again. Maybe you're busy, maybe you don't have time to do that. So, a good idea would be to review, and you can review your notes. That's why I recommend writing because this will be the best way to review what you saw in that episode. Now, all of this work was about one single episode. That's why it's very important to separate entertainment time and study time. Because imagine if you do that if you're with your favorite show, it's going to be very difficult to be patient and wait until you get to the episodes that you want to watch. So that's why I recommend shows that are not really on the top of your list, because you will suffer, you will get frustrated, because this is a study time. It's different from entertainment time, okay? Let me drink some water. Now, you will feel the difference if you do this. And to be honest, it's simple to do this, but it's not easy. It's not easy to do this step by step, to use Netflix to learn and improve English. And why is that? It's time consuming. It takes a long time to do this, okay? I myself have very little time to do that. So I do that about once or twice a week because it takes time, but it's much more productive than when I am having entertainment time. Because when I'm just watching for fun, I don't care. I really don't care about expressions or intonation or pronunciation or grammar or vocabulary. No, I'm just watching. If I don't understand something, I will only stop. To be very honest, I only stop if I have no idea what's happening, if I am feeling lost. Then I will pause and I will check. But other than that, I don't usually stop when I'm watching TV shows for fun. So this is a simple exercise, but it's not that easy to do because it takes time to do it. It is time consuming. That's why I recommend short shows, simple shows that are not in your favorite list and that are easy to watch because they are short. Because imagine doing this with 45-minute shows, 1 hour shows. These would be very time consuming and you would be tired. Another thing that I recommend here, this is not something for you to do every day because you have different activities that you need to do to improve your English. So I do not recommend doing this kind of activity every day because you will get tired, you will start to lose motivation. And as I always say, you need to bring English to your life, okay? And adjust to your routine, adjust to your lifestyle. So if you start to do this at least once a week, you will already see a great difference after some time. Okay, let's say about 2 months doing this kind of exercise, you will start to feel some improvement, some difference, especially in vocabulary, structure, even pronunciation. If you practice a little bit of intonation and shadowing, if you start to pay attention to how they speak. One thing that I love doing when I am watching TV shows is to repeat what they say so that I can practice the intonation. So sometimes I'm here alone at home and I just repeat what they say because it's a good way to practice intonation. It's the perfect scenario to practice intonation and pronunciation because you're not learning the technical aspects of pronunciation, phonetics, how to make the sounds, but you are learning by practicing. And learning by practicing is also a very efficient way to help you improve intonation and pronunciation. Okay? Now, some pros and cons. The pros is that it will really help you improve vocabulary. It will help you understand native speakers. It will help you learn grammar and context. And consequently, it will help you your speaking if you combine the different activities. However, the biggest cons I see here is that it's very time consuming. Some TV shows are too difficult. So it's difficult for English learners to know what is the best show for them to watch. And there is also the common confusion between what is entertainment time and what is study time. And if you confuse these two guys, you're never really going to take advantage of the moment that you're having. So if you are having a moment to relax and you decide to study a little English at that time, you may get you may not get any result you're looking for. You may not relax because you're studying, and you may not learning a lot because you're trying to relax. So you see, you're gonna have a very incongruent result here. And as I said, if you don't do it the right way, you're not going to feel improvement. Most English learners ask me about Netflix because they don't feel they are improving. So they want to know what they're doing wrong. And basically, what you're doing wrong is maybe you're not using it to learn. Maybe you're just using it as an entertainment source, which is the primary focus and goal of Netflix. But now, if you change your mentality a little bit and start dedicating some time to really studying through Netflix and pausing and taking notes and checking vocabulary and repeating, then you will start to see some consistent results. But then you will also have some conflicts, because what happens when you want to watch your favorite show? And what happens when you want to study? Do you have time for both of them? So my final recommendation is take the time you have into consideration. If this weekend you want to chill and relax and watch Netflix, do it. But if you want to improve your English, you feel like this is a great opportunity for you because you like TV shows, then divide your time in a way that you can follow these steps. In a future video, if you want, I can give more details of how to really study an episode step by step, and how to pause, and what things you should be looking for. This would be a little bit more time consuming, but I can make a video like that if you guys are interested. I will read the comments if you post there if you're interested. But this is something that we can do in the future because it's time consuming. And if you see how it's done, maybe you can get some inspiration of how you can do it to yourself, how you can adapt and watch shows you like to help you learn English. All right, but it can be done. I do it. I have clients who do it. I make some of my clients do it actually. I tell them, hey, you have to do this now. And it really works. It has some really advantages to that and some good results, okay, especially vocabulary wise. Now, my A to your Q. It's time. My answer to your question. Now it's the time, guys, to ask questions about the lesson, okay? Question about the subject that I was talking about how to use Netflix to improve your English, any strategies, tips, anything you want to ask about that, you can, okay? Um, let's see, I'm gonna start reading here. All right. Okay, what are your questions? If you don't have questions, I can go. Okay, someone said, where's the question? It's gone. Recommendations on Netflix series. It depends. Are you looking for recommendations to improve your English, or are you looking for recommendations to study English? See the difference? I think that when we're looking for shows to watch, we need to analyze what we want to see for fun, or if you're looking for a new exciting show, or if you are looking for something to help you improve your English. Okay. Someone asked about my ebook. To get my free ebook, you have to sign up to my newsletter. Okay, it's very simple to do. In this video, in the descriptions box, you will find a link there. All you gotta do is inform your email and your name. Then you will receive a confirmation email that you have to click. After that, you will receive my free ebook, and every week you will receive 1 or 2 emails with more strategies, master classes, podcasts, vocabulary lists, grammar videos, and many other kinds of English lessons only to that email list. So make sure to be part of my newsletter. Um, so, any questions about TV series and Netflix and how to improve English? Okay, so which TV series do I recommend? Okay, there are some shows that I recommend. I definitely recommend Friends, How I Met Your Mother. I recommend The Good Place. I also recommend, what's the name of that show? The Big Bang Theory is also nice. The Big Bang Theory. The other one is, Younger is also a nice show. These are all very short shows, okay? Friends, How I Met Your Mother, The Good Place, The Big Bang Theory, Younger. These are 20-minute episode shows, okay? Marcelo, Suits is a good show if you like law, okay? Do you like legal English? If you like legal English law, if you are interested in law, then Suits is a good show, okay? If you do not like uh, law and legal English, then this may not be the best show for you. I recommend this show to my law students, for students that are lawyers or who study law, because then they can get to know a little bit of legal English. It's a TV show, okay? So there are many things that are adapted, but it is possible to learn a little bit of legal English. This is nice because it's a practical way to learn a little bit more about legal vocabulary. Okay, so it's interesting. You see everything that is happening in court and the negotiation between lawyers and law firms. So it would be a great show for that. But if that's not your goal, then I recommend watching it just for fun because the expressions are very specific. I myself love Suits, but just as an entertainment source. I do not study through Suits. Okay? Claudio is asking, how can I improve my pronunciation with TV series? Nice. So first thing you have to do is choose a show that has short episodes, okay? You can choose a show that has long episodes, no problem. If you want to practice pronunciation, you can. Now, you are going to divide that show into small parts. And maybe, for example, you are a guy, so I would recommend choosing a male character, a man, a character that you like in the show. And then you can practice the intonation and pronunciation from that character. So let's say Suits, okay, the TV show Suits. No, let's see a popular one, Friends. And you like Ross very much. Ross is a character in the Friends show. So try to focus on that character, on the intonation of that character, on the pronunciation of that character. Because if you focus on everybody, you will get a little bit lost. So if you want to practice pronunciation and intonation, choose one person in the show that you like, that you whose English you like very much, and focus on that character. And every time that character speaks, if you are studying English, remember, if it's a study time, you are going to repeat the phrases this speaker speaks. So if Ross spoke something, you pause, you can activate the subtitles if available, and then you can read and you imitate the intonation. So if he's angry, make an angry voice. If he's happy, make a happy voice. If he's sad, make a sad voice. If he's neutral, be neutral. If his voice is rising, rise your voice. If his voice is falling, you have to follow the same intonation. So this would be something that is practical that you can do. It's time consuming, as I said, but choose one character. I have some shows that I like, and I like to follow some characters. For example, I like Rachel. In Friends, I like Rachel, and I like Monica very much. So every time they are speaking, I repeat what they say because I really like their intonation. So these are my favorite characters to practice pronunciation. Okay, they are not my favorite characters in the show, but they are my favorite pronunciation characters, and then I follow along and practice intonation like that. Okay? Annie, so movies or series, which is the best? I believe that TV series is better because you have a continuation. Okay, every week you have another episode, you have another story, you have something happening. So this is a little motivating. While the movie, it's usually just one or maybe two, maybe three, but that's it. Okay, so I like to have a continuity. I like to know more about what's happening to the character and really connect with the character. So I prefer the TV shows because of that. You get to know the character a little bit, so it's easier to interact, it's easier to understand the story. Okay? Wallace says 13 reasons why. Well, I think this is if you really like the show, then you have to analyze if you want to use it as a study time or entertainment time. So if you want to use the TV show for study time, It's nice because you are going to see a lot of teenage English, okay, like English that teenagers speak. So if you're looking for something like cool and like in a more teenage vibe, this would be an interesting show to watch. But again, you have to analyze if you like that kind of show. I personally do not like 13 Reasons Why. I think it's a little bit depressing and it sends a strange message. So personally, I wouldn't watch. But if you like it, hey, go for it. Watch and practice. But then I recommend analyzing if you prefer a study time or entertainment time. I would just pay attention to that. Okay. More questions. Let me drink some water. I have 10 more minutes before I go. Oh, another show that I like is I forgot the show. Unbreakable. Unbreakable Kimmy. Kimmy Schmidt is also a nice show. I think the episodes are very short too. So Unbreakable Kimmy is also nice, okay? The Good Place is really cool. I recommend The Good Place. For example, I have some students who are architects, okay? I love architecture. I love watching shows about house designs and constructions and renovations. So when I watch these shows, I have two scenarios here. I have study time and entertainment time. So because I like it very much, I divide the episodes. Some episodes I watch, I just focus on having fun. And some episodes I watch, I like to study. So, for example, I like to watch Property Brothers, which is a house renovation show, because it teaches me a lot about construction and design and renovation and buying a house, selling a house, and furniture and home appliances and decoration. So it's a very specific show. So I practice a lot of vocabulary in this kind of show. Okay. What is the best way to start studying with series? Okay, first choose one show that you like, but it cannot be your favorite, okay? That's like the number one thing. Choose a show that is short, short shows. Then you will divide the show. Well, okay, let's the first season. You will start in season one. Then you take the first episode. You need to analyze how many episodes you want to study every week. So if you have time to study one or two episodes per week, it's okay. You can. Then, my recommendation after that, Anidilson, is to divide the episode into small parts. And unfortunately for some, for me, it's good. You have to pause, okay? Because if you are watching this to learn, you have to start pausing the video so that you can understand, because this is the moment to study and take notes on expressions, on phrases, try to understand the context, what is happening at that situation, at that moment in the episode. So I would recommend that. That's why I recommend dividing the episode into four or five small parts. When you finish doing that, you're going to take a look at your notes and you will write a short explanation about what you understood, about what you remember from that episode. And this was your episode one. I recommend reviewing the episode, watching again. Watch one more time, maybe twice or three times before you go to the next episode. So that would take two episodes per week, more or less, two short episodes per week. That's why this should not be entertainment, this should be a show just for study time. And then you can divide what you want to focus on. If on this episode you want to focus on vocabulary, focus on vocabulary. If you want to focus on grammar, write down some phrases and try to understand the structure of these phrases. If you want to practice intonation, pronunciation, do what I recommended a little earlier. Pause in some moments and repeat what one actor or another actress speaks. So this would be a good way to start. Uh, the best method to learn fast speech, I don't think that your focus should be to speak fast. I think your focus should be to speak clearly. I don't speak fast, I speak clearly. That has never been my goal. So I think that what you're trying to say is you want to speak more clearly. And if you try to do that quickly, you're not going to be clear. Because when we're learning pronunciation, and this is something that I work with my students, is first you learn how to speak slowly because I need to understand you. After you start to become comfortable with the words, with the movements that your mouth makes, then you can start speaking a little faster, but not fast. Okay, you will speak at a normal speed where native speakers can understand you, non-native speakers can understand you. But I don't have a method to learn fast speech. Okay, I have a method to speak clearly, and to speak clearly, you have to practice shadowing, repetition, and make sure that you make the right movements with your mouth. That's why practicing slowly is better. Final question, one more question before I go. Let's see if I missed any question here. No more questions. So I'm free. Awesome, guys. So, if you want to become part of my newsletter, all you got to do is very simple. The link is in the descriptions, but let me see if I can share the link here with you guys. Many people are joining. I'm very happy that many people are becoming part of my newsletter. I send a lot of lessons and tips and vocabulary lists and podcasts only to this email list. It's free, okay? You don't pay for anything. And on top of that, you receive a nice free ebook. Okay, the next live video will be next Monday, same place, same time. Okay, and if you have questions, you can send me your questions that I will try to create a master class about the questions that you have. All right, so you guys have a productive week. Share this video with your friends. The more you share, the more you help the channel grow, and the more people come join the live master class. Okay, thank you all so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.